Hey, welcome back everybody. It is Laura. If you're new to the channel, hello, welcome. I dive deep into the astrological energies. I connected to the Twin Flame Collective and the Divine Feminine and Masculine healing journeys. And then I go a little bit deeper with the Oracle and the Tarot cards. And so today we are going to explore and talk about Mercury's recent retrograde into Leo. It just went retrograde just after midnight last night in my local area, Eastern Standard Time. And it is going to be going direct on August the 11th. So over the course of the next couple of weeks, we are in this soul excavation energy, and we are breaking down any false beliefs connected to confidence, communication, and creativity. So we're going to look deep into these energies, and we're going to start with talking about the foundation of Mercury itself, because Mercury is the planet of the mind, communication, it's our thought processes, it's our decision making, it's how we gather information, and it is connected to our daily habits, right? And so because Mercury is generally rules, I want to say Gemini or Virgo, there's this mentally active energy as well connected to those archetypes within our birth chart, right? And so at the time of the retrograde, you can see right there up on the screen, Mercury is going retrograde in its home house. The fifth house is naturally ruled by Leo, and it is going retrograde in the fifth house. And so all things fifth house are connected to children, fun, creativity, sex, short-term romance. This really is the perfect opportunity to connect to that inner child. And with this retrograde happening at 15 degrees 34, it is bringing forward a lot of archetypal energies connected to the devil and Eight of Wands. And so downloads. This energy is moving quickly, but it is moving backwards. And so there's like this invitation to slow down, to review, to revise, and I want to say to reconnect. So let's talk about this, because with Mercury and Leo, it is in a fiery sign. It's ruled by the sun. The sun rules our ego. And like I said, this is connected to our self-expression, right? This is connected to our inner child joy and how we can reconnect with that inner child and that joy. And so things can be bold, things can be theatrical, things can be a little bit egoic in this retrograde energy. So we do want to keep our egos in check. So we're basically re-evaluating how we speak, how we listen, and this is going to be a retrograde of deep inner reflection and how we express that authentic truth. And so powerful energies of reclaiming that voice, that Leo roar, that lion roar, and working through any blocks connected to self-confidence over the next couple of weeks. When we reconnect with our creative passion, maybe you set this creative passion aside years ago, or maybe you're re-evaluating your co-creative journey with the universe. For me, it is happening in my sixth house, which is all things connected to my day-to-day life. But basically, we are at a moment with this stationing retrograde energy where we are aligning with a couple of powerful archetypes. Like I said, the devil and the Eight of Wands. I feel these fast-moving, swirling thoughts around the collective, and there's going to be temptation. There could be obsessions, and there very well could be ego attachments, particularly because Leo is a fixed sign, and this is going to be connected to communication. But there's this intense momentum building connected to breaking through all of these limiting beliefs. It's in a sextile to Venus and Gemini, also at 15 degrees orb 9. This is the archetypal energy of the devil and the hermit. And so this is an internalized process of recognizing all of these toxic patterns, especially connected to love, because Venus rules love, money, finances, self-worth. All of this is coming up to the surface, this retrograde. And with that sextile, I just feel there's an opportunity or an invitation to communicate more honestly, not only with yourself, but within relationships. But we do have to be willing to go inward first, right? And so there's this trine to the anti-vertex in Aries. You can see that as well. And so this is an energetic point This is linked to karmic events, fated events. And the anti-vertex is deep shadow work. And because it's connected to the justice and the sun archetypes, this is a reminder the words that we speak carry significant weight. And the clarity that we receive is going to bring that balance after this retrograde motion, especially through self-honesty, right? Truth and reconciliation. And so not everything is going to be easy breezy. Not everything is going to be very flowy. Actually, everything is feeling very stuck, very stagnant. If you're in that energy, you're not alone. A lot of us are in that very stuck and stagnant energy. And I do think that's due to the square to Black Moon Lilith in Scorpio. That's sitting at 12 degrees. There is this energy of the Hanged Man and gaining that new perspective. It's at an orb of 36, which is the 10 of Wands energy. This emotional intensity, you can feel it in the energies. There's power struggles, and maybe it's just a power struggle within, or maybe that's going to be externalized, but there is also this burden of truth that needs to be put to bed. And this square really is asking us to pause, right? We've got to pause. We have to reflect for sure before we react. And there's going to be a lot of emotionally charged moments. And I do think there's going to be a lot of shadow projection. I actually did a post on my personal social media on my Facebook page about projection and how so many women can't see the projection in their own posts on social media. So these collective energies, we want to work with it. Retrogrades are a perfect time to reevaluate. And this retrograde is very heavily aspected, heavily flavored. And so this is a time to rewire our mental beliefs to receive all of these unexpected downloads. And I know that's where I'm feeling a little bit stuck. It's been a hot minute before or since I posted on the channel, because I'm getting all of these downloads and I'm jotting them down and I'm journaling, but I have nowhere to put these in a container to bring them forward. It's very scattered energy, especially with Uranus and Gemini in the early degree. And so we're shifting our love dynamics as well with that sextile to Venus and Gemini. And so there's a lot of rewiring connected to divine union patterns. So really ask yourself and sit with these questions over the course of the next couple of weeks. Where have you silenced your inner child? Where have you silenced your creativity? And what truth about your identity or your leadership role are you ready to reclaim as that lioness or that lion? And are you actually finally ready to revisit a creative passion or something that was put on hold, or maybe something buried long ago connected to this inner child healing? Because we need to remember, Leo does rule the heart. And so there's heart work at play here. It's not just about the head, even though Mercury is about thought processes. There's a lot of heart reflection. And so, like I said, for me personally, this Mercury retrograde is moving through my 6th house. And so this is my house of daily routine, health, my service mission. Those of you that know me well and have been with me for a while, my North Node is also in Leo, my Mars is in Leo, and all of this energy is clustered in my 6th house. And so right now I'm reworking my daily life, my daily health routine, my daily habits, my daily business practices, and I'm grounding in this new wellness routine, not only for myself, but for my children. And so I'm really starting to realign with that joy again after all of these years. And I'm trying to create that work-life balance, which I have felt has not been balanced out for a while, with that drive or that push to always create and produce. So I've really taken a back seat lately on the channel because I'm journaling and I'm moving my body and I'm grounding these energies. And so right now that's like my medicine, is meditation, journaling, and movement, mindful body movement. And so all things connected to the 6th house too are also connected to Virgo. And so we do have Mars also in Virgo, which is asking us to regulate, to reconnect, to restructure. And so this is all about our physical and emotional rhythms, I feel. And so we've got beautiful opportunities this retrograde to reignite our inner flame, to figure out what it is we're passionate about. I was really drawn to wearing my Atlantizite pendant today to really connect with that 5th dimensional energy and the Atlantean timelines, the Atlantean memories. And so how can you use these energies to realign with your voice, to realign with your values, and to reconnect with that inner child, and to really bring forward that energy of joy, truth, allowing that inner child to come out and play, and then reflecting on how you communicate, because we should lead with the heart, not with the ego, right? And so this retrograde, maybe it's lighting up your first house, maybe it's shining a light on your identity, could be lighting up your 5th house of creativity, or even your 10th house of career. Either way, we can take these energies and have them work for us rather than against us. Retrogrades are not meant to be feared. The best part about a retrograde is we have this powerful invitation to go into this greater awareness of self. It's always an inner journey to this deeper truth, and everything is always going to be connected to divine timing. And so divine feminine, what you need to work on, what you need to work through, I do feel is going through this heart-led portal. It is a heart-led portal for the divine feminine, and this is about courage. This is about authenticity. This is about owning your soul's authentic expression. And so you're being asked to reclaim back your voice. I do feel this lingering lump, almost like a need to clear my throat. So I just feel this is about reclaiming your voice from all of the past lifetimes and this lifetime, 1111 on the timer, where you have been silenced. And it can be just this lifetime, or it can go beyond, right? And so there's an activation, I feel, for the feminine connected to the solar plexus, where we need to recognize where we've been leaking our power, and the throat chakra for the divine feminine. This is about speaking with authority, speaking with power, but not in the energy of domination, right? It is about leading through the heart, not through the ego, and creating without that fear of judgment, right? Because people are going to judge us. That's just what people do. It's our human nature. But you don't have to fear these judgments, because a lot of these judgments are actually projections, okay? So work on your creative confidence this retrograde, divine feminine. Return to things that you used to love. For me, it's painting, writing, singing, dancing, all of those creative expressions. Anything that you can express without needing permission from other people. Work on releasing the need for validation. You are here to validate your own inner child. Okay, and when you write to your younger self, when you play with your younger self and connect with your younger self, then you can reclaim that joy, you can reclaim that innocence that was taken from you, and maybe where you needed to self-abandon in order to survive. And refine your truth. That's exactly what I've been doing, especially since Neptune and Saturn have been retrograde, and now Leo joining in the retrograde with Mercury. And we have to refine our truth. We have to be willing to speak about what it is that we need. It's okay to ask for what it is that we need. And we don't have to shout out our needs, but we do have to be clear with the voice that we speak. And this is going to come through stillness and a lot of reflection. And so work through any self-doubt or where you mask your humility, because humility is a part of the journey, and we use that light of humility to shine even brighter, okay? And so when we're playing it small, we're not in our sacred mission. This is all about no more playing it small, okay? Stop people pleasing, because people are never going to be happy. You are here to please yourself. And when you are in people pleasing tendencies and cycles, this is at the cost of your soul. So think about that over this retrograde and stop avoiding confrontation. We are always going to be confronted with other challenges. Truth itself is a confrontation, but truth in essence is the medicine, right? And so do not ghost your own needs. You need to fill your own cup this retrograde, okay? Divine masculine messages. What you need to work on and what you need to work through, divine masculine, is like this relationship to pride. Relationship to pride, to ego, to performance, and to control. And so these energies can be applied whether you resonate as a masculine or a feminine. We have both of these energies within. But I feel for the masculine collective, the Leo energy really is asking, are you leading from your heart? Or are you leading from that wounded ego or that wounded inner child? So it's a major check-in with yourself. This retrograde, divine masculine, are you using your voice to actually connect? Or are you using it to protect yourself? Because this retrograde is offering the divine masculine collective a chance to reconnect with how you communicate your needs as well. but you also have to reconnect with how you hold space for that emotional depth that has likely been avoided, because you have to hold both your own emotional depth and others on this journey. And so really, I feel emotional honesty is what is being worked on and worked through this retrograde for the Divine Masculine Collective. And so this is not just about stating facts. It's about expressing how something feels. And so heart-led leadership is about showing up vulnerable, showing up whole, and not just showing up strong, right? And we have to listen to understand. So many people listen to respond. They don't listen to understand. And so when we have this masculine instinct to fix or to explain or to defend, then we have to bring ourselves back into check. And so there's going to be a lot of wounds being triggered connected to vulnerability, this retrograde Divine Masculine. And I just have to say, to be soft does not equal weakness, okay? There could be fear of failure. To fail is to say, hey, at least I tried. There could be fear of being misunderstood. And so if you've been taught that your worth is based on performance, then these fears are coming up to be addressed and reworked and recalibrated. There could be a lot of projection patterns that the Divine Masculine Collective is working through. But this is all about taking responsibility for our own inner turmoil, right? We can't displace that onto others with projection, right? And that is a pattern. And so I do feel a major heart chakra recalibration during this retrograde for the Divine Masculine Collective, especially if there has been unspoken emotions or suppressed truth, unspoken truth, whatever's been repressed or unspoken. I do feel that bubbling below the surface for the Divine Masculine Collective. So really lean into that stillness, I want to say, and let that silence speak to you in clarity, right? Because we're sifting through confusion. And so I just feel there's a breakdown before the breakthrough. So we are going to go a little bit deeper into the oracle and the tarot messages. Let me know down in the comments what house Mercury is transiting through your birth chart, this retrograde. If you've got any creative sparks or hits coming forward, what is showing up for you? Also, if you are curious to learn a little bit more about your birth chart and you are new to astrology, I do have a free guide, the 15 basics of understanding your birth chart. If you want to learn more about your birth chart and how to kind of start digging into astrology, comment free guide down below and I will send you the link to download that guide. I also do have a 22-page twin flame ebook. Yes, it's free, everybody. So if you are curious about the twin flame path, the journey, the stages, the phases, how to master it like a pro, and how to understand this is not just romance, this is actually mission work, and you're ready to level up, comment twin flame book down below. But let's dig into these energies a little bit deeper and let's see what the oracle and the tarot cards have to say today. I do have to say all of these cards beautifully align with these retrograde energies and what's going on up in the cosmos. I see a lot of shadow work here. I do see some miscommunication, and I absolutely see a divine realignment. So let's break it down, and we will start with the oracle messages. The first card out is mental clutter. It says, be careful of spending too much time in your headspace, which leaves little room for real clarity to present itself. And so this does speak directly to the mercurial mind, right? Especially when Mercury is in its retrograde motion. And so especially in Leo, this retrograde can become very overactive, connected to the mental loops where we replay these ego-driven desires over and over and over again in our head. Or there could be this temptation to overanalyze a certain situation, especially connected to romance or even just a creative pursuit. And so for the twin flame journey, I do feel this card is a reminder that the path to union, it's never going to be paved by logic, right? Especially not logic alone. And when we overthink our counterpart's actions, or we overanalyze the signs and the synchronicities, or when we keep replaying all of these old conversations in our head, we actually block the heart clarity that's trying to come in with this Leo energy that is really trying to awaken us, this retrograde. And so drop from the head into the heart. And we do that by meditating, by breathing, and by listening to what that inner child and the higher self is saying to us. And so the clarity rises from the heart in a state of silence. We're never going to get that clarity from these spiraling, spinning thoughts, okay? So I've had to go through that realization myself. And then the teacher card. You are involved in a situation that will help you evolve, or somebody else evolve. And so there is a lesson here that should be considered a gift during this human experience. And so this, I feel, connects to that trine energy between Mercury and the anti-vertex in Aries, which was sitting in the 12th house, if you remember. And the 12th house is the house of karma. It's the house of spirituality. It's the house of undoing. And so this really is bringing forward like a karmic lesson in divine timing. And I think that's very sharply in focus with this message. And so I do have to say this retrograde is not random at all. It is like this energy of the cosmic classroom. And the twin flame journey is the most accelerated school of all connected to the awakening journey. Are we all on a twin flame awakening journey? I don't believe so. But I do feel whether you're on a twin flame journey or in separation or in union or in a reconnection, the retrograde energy is here to highlight important soul growth lessons, right? And these lessons are being asked to be fully integrated along with all of the other retrogrades that are happening, right? And so we each play a role where we support the other's awakening, even if it's through challenging circumstances or through silence. And so the Leo energy, I feel, is a reminder that we are not a victim of this awakening journey. This awakening journey is to allow us to reconnect with our inner co-creator. And we are all here to evolve as a soul. And we do this through some pretty awful human experiences at times, right? And so allow the retrograde in Leo to illuminate the wisdom in the wounding on this journey, because there's always a deeper purpose to the pain, right? And then the pain usually does lead to igniting your passions. So find something or someone that speaks to your heart, lifts your mood, and sparks your creativity. If this is related to work, then do what you love, okay? So this couldn't be more aligned with Mercury and Leo, which governs the 5th house of passion, play, and self-expression, like I talked about. And so this is nudging the entire collective, especially divine feminines. Reignite that dormant feminine energy, revisit those childhood joys, reconnect to soul-aligned work, and don't forget to play. Play. This really is a time for the twin flame collective connected to magnetic creative rebirth. There could be a rekindling of passion or a rekindling of inspiration. This can be within the connection or just within your own personal journey. But when we follow our joy, then we elevate our frequency, right? And then we naturally shift into a state of alignment, and that will call in a frequency match and a divine counterpart. And so I feel the insight with this card connected to twin flames is it really is time to focus inward. This is a big inner journey with all of these retrogrades. It's not an outward journey right now. So we can never wait for another to reignite our fire. We have to light our own flame, and then we wait for that energetic mirror to reflect it back to us, right? And so bottom of the deck, I love it, love it, love it. Manifestation. So the card says, practice the law of attraction to attract what it is that you want in your life. What we think is what we create in our physical reality through thought, meditation, and daily affirmation. So I do want to clear this up. Our thoughts alone do not create our reality. It is our thoughts, what we think, what we feel, and then the actions that we take. All of these combined together in a state of alchemy help to manifest our physical reality. And so this is kind of the anchoring energy, what's below the surface. And so Mercury does rule manifestation through thought, speech, and belief, and our feelings attached to all of those. And so it's not time to manifest from force whenever anything is in retrograde. The manifestation is going to come from that inner recalibration and the alignment, and then the clarity is going to come. And so right now we are being asked to rescript our limiting beliefs, and we all have them. We're being asked to reaffirm our values, and we do this through daily affirmations, right? And when we take the time to realign our inner vibration with the version of reality we know that we came here to live, then the manifestation begins. But it always is an inner journey. And so this retrograde really is a time to energetically call in that deeper union. And we do this by focusing on embodiment. It's never going to be connected to obsession. So if you find yourself spiraling in obsession with an external person, realign that focus, step back into alignment, go within and focus on embodiment, because our thoughts and our words are spells. So we have to speak what it is that we are seeking, and we have to understand that what we are seeking is also seeking us. And below the manifestation is the pivot point. And so we are at a major fork in the road, and I saw it with the Two of Pentacles as well. So after this retrograde, I do feel a substantial decision is going to have to be made, and it's probably going to have a lot of impact on a lot of people. And so clear the mental clutter, okay? Embrace every conversation like it's here to teach you something. If there's a delay, if there's a trigger, it's there as a teacher. And reconnect with what makes your heart sing. Reconnect with creativity. Reconnect with play. Reconnect with joy, because we're manifesting from a space of grounded truth. We cannot manifest from fantasy, and we cannot manifest from fear. And so Divine Feminine, when you lead with embodied joy and presence, then the Divine Masculine will soften into his own emotional clarity. And then the energetic polarity will come together because you're both in harmony. And this is possible in retrograde motion. So keep that in mind. Let's break down the tarot cards. We will start with the top row, the Six of Swords. And so as we can see here, it is connected to Mercury and Aquarius energy. And so there's a transition here. There's mental clarity because it's swords. There is also this resonance, I want to say, of emotional distance, but at the same time moving forward with hope, because Aquarius is connected to the star, which is hope. And so this does align, I want to say, with the upcoming opposition between Mercury and Leo and Pluto in Aquarius. That's going to reveal the tension, I feel, between the need to evolve and pull up all of these past mental loops is what that feels like. And so movement is going to feel blocked. It definitely is going to feel blocked, but it's temporary. So we're kind of at a spiritual checkpoint, right? We can't rush clarity. We have to move with intention, not with a sense of urgency, okay? The High Priestess. Pisces energy, moon energy. There's definitely some Pisces vibes here. We do have the current North Node in Pisces and respectively the South Node in Virgo. And with the new moon in Leo approaching during this retrograde, this is a clear indication to turn inward, to go into the intuition, the inner knowing, the sacred stillness, to trust your intuitive guidance right now, and to kind of just honor the mystery, right? Because we're kind of in this cosmic womb space before the rebirth. And so there's some shadow work here, and rest and surrender is really what is needed in order to lay down the burden, right? The 10 of Wands. So the 10 of Wands is connected to Saturn. It is connected to Sagittarius. There's a burden here. It feels like complete and total exhaustion. And that really is the cost of carrying too much for too long, right? And so there is a Saturnian tone connected to this retrograde. And this really is pointing to that need to shed what is no longer yours to carry, especially any narratives connected to the ego or performance or the over responsibility within the twin flame dynamic. And so the Leo energy, this retrograde, is asking you, what are you carrying that is kind of suffocating your light? Let it burn. Let it go. Release it. Let it go. Page of Cups is the first card out in the middle row. And so I do feel some inner alchemy and a lot of personal initiations with this row. And so this is inner child healing. This is emotional vulnerability. This is a new beginning in love, right? Pages are fresh, new energy. This does speak to the reconnection of the inner feminine and inner masculine and innocence, especially after we go through that emotional shutdown, right? We all go through the emotional shutdown when we enter into separation. And this retrograde energy is going to pull us into that inner child integration so we can make space for softer love, creative love, right? Because then we go right into the Ace of Wands, which is the central card of the reading. It is the core energy of the reading, the core energy of this retrograde. This is the ignition point. This is creative inspiration. This is passion. This is soul work. And so there's this new flame being lit within you and potentially within this twin flame connection. But there is a sacred fire of self being activated. There is a cycle here. There is a new beginning, but it must come from authenticity and not from illusion. And so use the Leo fire of this retrograde to light your path, but to light your path with truth. And then we go right into the Hanged Man. Neptune energy is all about surrender and new perspectives. We do have Neptune currently retrograde in Aries. And so this does reflect that collective need to, I want to say, release martyrdom, spiritual delusions, and codependent sacrifices. Man, that's a tough one to sit with. So there's a shift here, I feel, that is bringing forward sovereignty, right? Where we stop waiting for somebody else to change. You know how hard it is to embrace real change for yourself. We can't wait for somebody else to change. We might be waiting until the day that we die, right? And so stop waiting, because the bottom row is screaming action, alignment, and soul mission. And so there's action, there's passion with the Knight of Wands. And the way he's facing, it's like he wants to go back. He's like, could be he, could be she, doesn't matter. But it feels to me like a desire to return and to heal some unfinished business. This knight is looking back. And this knight wants to return to a past soul theme, or even wants to have an attempt at a reconnection, either with a twin flame or a soulmate. But I do have to really stress, any movement towards the past has to be conscious. It can't be chaotic, because there is hope. There's hope, there's healing, there's this Aquarian energy coming through with the star, and I do feel this is connected to Pluto retrograding in Aquarius. And so collectively we are healing our identities, we're healing our voice, we're healing this collective truth, because many are finally stepping into their soul mission, and we're healing these wounds publicly. We're visibly putting our healing journey out there. And so we're healing these wounds, I want to say, of being either too much or not enough, And then we've got the manifestation card, the Three of Wands. So it's like there's an expectancy here, or like a preparation to receive. And this does mirror the manifestation card from the oracle cards that I pulled on the bottom of the deck. And so this waiting is never going to be in vain. Remember, we talked about not waiting for another person. But we are being prepared for this new energetic field as we come into this divine alignment. So don't sabotage it with doubt, because what is meant to find you will always find you fully and wholeheartedly when you come into alignment. Okay, so let's talk about the bottom of the deck. So we're going to break down these three cards first, because I do feel they're significant together. We get the Knight of Cups, we get the Nine of Wands, and we get the Fool. There's that Uranus energy, and we do have Uranus in early degree. A Gemini, I can't quite, I don't have the screen up or right in front of me. I don't know if it's still at that 0 point. It very well could still be at that 0 point. But there's a message here or an emotional offer. I want to say it's en route, and this could possibly be a long-awaited apology or reconnection, but there's fear. There's fear, there's anxiety, there could even be nightmares. It's like I feel this racing mind, and I do think it's tied to fear, maybe even fear of being hurt again. But the Fool is saying there's a new beginning here. We have to kind of put these past fears behind us, the past patterns behind us, especially connected, I want to say, to love bombing, because love bombing always leads to betrayal, and there could be blocking of a leap of faith here, right? And then we go right to the Two of Coins with the Four of Cups. So there's that stuckness. There's that stuck energy. So there is like this emotional and energetic juggling going on, right? And if you're feeling stuck, it could be due to feeling unfulfilled. There is a need to choose alignment, though, over comfort. Is really what I feel this message is. So we do have the Capricorn Cancer axis at play. And so we kind of are still completing and closing out that moon cycle, right? We had the new moon in Cancer just shy of a month ago, and the Capricorn full moon last week. And so there's a Capricorn Cancer axis here that we're kind of closing out. And then the bottom of the deck, we get this Palace of Wands, which is in connection to this Ace of Wands, essential energy. So this is like what's below the surface. This is the Ace of Wands on steroids. And so there is passion, there's purpose, there's divine creativity here. There's this energetic potential that is being built beneath the surface. But we do need to remind us, we do need to remind ourselves, us, all of us. Yes, the past hurt you. The past hurt all of us in some essence, right? But it doesn't own our future. The hurt from the past does not have to own our future. So we are kind of being asked to choose alignment over fear, and to listen to our soul over the past trauma, because that's how we kind of step into the fiery rebirth, right? And so we're kind of in the sacred pause. But there's bold, unfiltered truth here. So I just feel meditation is going to help with the High Priestess and the Hanged Man coming through. That's going to create that space, I feel, to turn inward. There's a need to ask yourself, what burdens are you carrying that are no longer yours? What part of you still fears love, right? Part of you still fears love. Plant the seeds, because we are preparing for that Leo new moon, and we do this with alignment of our heart, not the ego. So we kind of have to trust what's being burnt away right now is meant to leave. We're going to close it off with my handmade twin flame oracle card messages. So the first two cards out are energy clearing and delays. And so I just feel this retrograde is calling for a complete energetic detox. When Mercury goes backwards in the cosmos and in the sign of Leo, because it is associated with the heart, self-expression, and personal power, we are being guided to cut these old cords, these old attachments, to release the stagnant vibrations or any emotional residue from past cycles. If there is like something here that's non-negotiable, then ground that in. I just feel there is like a reset happening here right now within the Twin Flame Collective, but we do have to align with this new frequency. We have to release the old static of our energy field so we can use rituals or sound healing, salt baths, smudging, Reiki. I know I just got some new tuning forks in. I'm super excited to start working with the tuning forks. You could do meditations to open up the flow, to restore that dialogue between you and your higher selves. And the delays are there on purpose, right? Delays is a purposeful pause. That's the divine kind of creating a delay. So if you're feeling like you're at a standstill, like I am, whether it's communication, reunion, work, or clarity, there's a realignment going on. And so you might feel stuck because your twin is working through deep-rooted karmic loops connected to his subconscious ego patterns, or he's going through intense healing and he's just not ready yet to fully reveal himself. So delays are actually divine protection, and it's orchestrated by the divine to help both of the counterparts align with their most authentic, empowered selves before they come into union. And so there's a reconnection here unfolding, but there's a big time pause. And then we got karmic partner and meditate on the bottom of the deck, and I did stop at get grounded, and we'll talk about that. So karmic partner, that's a tough one, right? And so either one or both of you are still untangling from a karmic lesson. It can be an actual partnership, or it can be a lingering emotional residue connected to a karmic partnership. But this is really going to be highlighted under this Mercury retrograde, so you can finally close that chapter physically and energetically. And this could surface as like sudden memories, triggers, or even dreams. I know a lot's been coming through in dreams for me. And so meditation is asking you to be still. Stillness is going to be your power right now. And so communication is always a little bit cloudy during Mercury retrogrades, but the internal channel is kind of wide open. So really go within to receive that clarity. Do not be seeking it externally. When you meditate too, you can also connect with your twin's higher self. You can connect with your higher self. You can connect with your spirit guides and your own inner wisdom. So think about that, okay? And get grounded. We are in the process of closing out thousands of years of outdated karmic cycles. So with all of this fiery energy in the collective, all of the mental noise from the Mercury retrograde, there's going to be a lot of emotional tides surfacing from the inner child work that is being triggered to the surface. Grounding is going to be essential. Nature is your healing ally right now, so go outside, place your bare feet on the earth, touch a tree, hug a tree, allow yourself to feel the presence of the divine through simply connecting with the earth. Grounding also will help integrate all of these light codes, all of these downloads, and all of this inner awakening that is occurring during this retrograde. And so I do feel we are at a karmic checkpoint. It really feels like that, a sacred checkpoint. And so it's not just a time to revise, to revisit, and to reflect. There is the cosmic ignition here. This is about activating our truest voice and standing in our sovereign self, right? And so it is feeling very clouded right now. And I want to say it's temporary. If there's cloudiness, if there's confusion, if there's delays, and I know there's emotional waves, I think we're all just being asked, like, are we finally ready to choose ourselves? Are you finally ready to choose you? Because that really is what this twin flame journey is about. It's about honoring the soul lessons, grounding deeper into your mission and your work, and allowing the lessons to serve your growth, to serve the collective, to guide your inner listening, because union will always begin within. And so if you are ready to go deeper with me with some twin flame coaching, some astrology coaching, or a reading, I would love to get all of that booked in for you. Check out the link below to my webpage if you are curious. You can also book in a free 15-minute clarion call if you're not sure which way to go or what to book in. I'd be more than happy to connect with you via Google Meet for a clarion call to talk about the services and to talk about what your goals are moving forward. If you're not ready for that, check out the membership side of the channel. I am still going live every Thursday at noon. If that's something that interests you, just a low-cost way to connect and interact with me on a deeper level. And that's what I've got for the energies today. I hope this helped. I hope this resonated, and I hope to see you all again next time.